Hey, what's up, studs? Ryan here, MandRproductions, and today we're taking a look at the Imperial Dropship from The Mandalorian Season 2. I think it was Episode 5 when Boba Fett showed up, and so did some stormtroopers inside of these dropships out of Moff Gideon's light cruiser. Now, LEGO has not made this set, but this is a custom set from Republic Bricks, and Timmy, who runs Republic Bricks, did send me this for free to review on the channel. This set includes 904 pieces, and currently on his website, the, I guess, official retail price on this custom product is $260, but it says it's on sale for just $200, which seems like a pretty good price to me, assuming everything in here is in good condition, and we actually like the model when we have it built. And on top of that, if you use code MANDR, that's M&R, you get an extra 5% off, so you can save another $10 on that. So not too bad for something that LEGO obviously doesn't make, and just judging from the pictures, it looks like a pretty good model compared to what we see in the show. As usual, if you guys enjoyed these videos, make sure you give them a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more LEGO Star Wars real sets and custom set reviews. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Now, you're not going to believe this, but it appears inside of this white bag, we have a lot of LEGO bricks. So, as usual, if you've watched a Republic Bricks review video before, usually the pieces come color sorted, and that seems to be no different here. Otherwise, it'd be a complete hodgepodge of parts and pieces everywhere if you didn't have these colored bags. So, it at least helps make the building process a little bit easier. iPad, QR code. I think you should be able to use this with any of your devices that have a phone that can do QR code reading. There we go. That's much better. You can see it better. I don't know if this is from my feedback or not, but I much prefer instructions on a dark color. And especially like this, it's dark gray. It's not black like the Lego ones, where people that had an issue looking at it shouldn't have an issue with this. And plus it's on a screen, so should be fine. Looking at these instructions, they look really good to me, and I really like that they're on a dark background. I don't know why, but that's just important to me. I do know why, it's my eye floaters, dang it. But yeah, just like normal LEGO instructions, and I say this every time, but it's worth saying, your building experience with this will not be perfect. It's not the biggest deal, but it is the custom experience from Republic Bricks that I've had. So I finished the build, but I've purposefully left all of the panels off to show you the interior first. I also brought in the 3 minifigures from the Imperial Marauder that came out in the summer of 2021. These 3 figures definitely go great with this set, especially the Mortar Trooper, who would make a lot more sense in a set like this if LEGO did produce one. But the interior space is going to allow plenty of troops to fit. And if you think about like the First Order transporter that LEGO came out with, I think you could only fit 4 troops inside or something to that effect. This one looks like you could fit a good dozen troops inside of it. It definitely has the space to fit a ton of minifigs inside. You can see very spacious, and the panels are going to wrap around that, so they're not going to encroach on that. Now we've got a nice area in the back with a seat for your minifigs. The seat does swivel around 360 degrees. There are some control panels and stuff back there and some red lights. I think it looks rather nice, so there is a nice bit of space if you're somebody that does want to play with minifigs on a build like this. But you can see just kind of the technic structure of this thing looks pretty good, but we do of course need to add the panels on to complete the model, because this obviously isn't what you're buying. I just want to say up front, I think I really love this model. Like, completed, done, panels on. It is a beautiful build. It's a pretty strong build as well. You know, there's definitely been builds in the past from Republic Bricks. I always point to the Venator and the MTT back there that have been less than optimal as far as sturdiness goes, which is not what you're probably getting into a custom set for. But this one does a much better job of that for sure, which is a good thing. Never a bad thing to be more sturdy. But I don't feel like it sacrifices what those sets might have to sacrifice as far as looks go to achieve that, which is nice. You saw that Technic inner workings on this, and then you just have kind of these panels on the side, and they're far from like the strongest thing ever, but they do have the proper angles, and you can actually change the angles around. So if you really want to have it be flat on the side, I guess you could do that, but that's not really like the accurate look, so you kind of want to have it angled out. Externally, this thing is pretty slick. So we have some cannons on either side of the troop dropship here, And the thing about these is that they actually have spring-loaded shooters built into them. However, there are no spring-loaded missiles included in the set, which I definitely found odd. I definitely don't need them. If I want to throw some on the side, I can. And I think it would take away from the look if they were there anyway. I think these just are a nice mechanical look, or just a different color to have a breakup of dark gray and light gray there. I don't know if he necessarily intended for them to be actual functions and features on the build, but either way I don't really care because I think they look good as they are. And these can actually spin, if you actually lift this thing up, 360 degrees. It doesn't have the greatest center of gravity, so you do really need two hands to lift this thing up. You're gonna have to do that. You saw me try to pick it up like this, it's gonna fall forward. I mean, you can get away with this, but why would you do that? It's probably going to break in your hands. This is not a Lego designed model, so there's that. There is some nice additional color. It's not just one color of light gray externally, so they do break it up quite a bit with dark gray and a little bit of tan. There's also some silver, like shiny grill pieces on the side of the build. The very front looks like this, and up under there you can see the loading bay or the ramp or whatever that you can drop down here, or I believe it opens. How does it open? Oh yeah, it drops right down. Okay, that's actually better than I thought. I thought, I don't know why I thought differently. So let's say you're gonna build a mock based off that episode of The Mandalorian. This one works really well with the scale with the figures because they can actually fit up in that ramp there. And of course, inside you saw them fit in the interior earlier. They can walk right out of there and you can have it in a downward position. So you can have it unloading troops, which is really cool. So really appreciate some of the details that are added on to the front of the ship there. And if for some reason you're curious how this mechanism works, it is just some Technic pieces built into there. It drops down and lifts back up. It's strongly held into place, so you don't have to worry about it dropping down just randomly. It is going to stay there until you fit your finger up under here and pull down on it and put it in its loading position to allow troops to enter and exit the loading bay. Now, what I have noticed is there's no real way to access this unless you pull this panel off the side, literally kind of breaking it off, and then you have to just access it from the side. So from that aspect, it's not the greatest. You can't just pull this whole thing off. I mean, you could, I guess. So you have this whole top panel here. This part is made to come off. See this whole section. And then if you actually wanted to take the top off so that you could access the interior without having to pull down side panels and do things like that, you actually have to like pull these pieces apart from the set, which is not optimal. Like, you have to do quite a bit of extra work to get into here, but it is a custom set. It's mostly made to look good, not quite to function as a real Lego playset, but you can access the interior like that. You just have to move a lot of stuff out of your way. It's not optimal, but let's pop that back together. Looking at this with just the top panel removed gives you a much different view of the thing. Like I said, it's still going to be very difficult to access the main troop bay, but you still get a little bit of access from here, I guess, if you want to count that. But more importantly, in my mind, there's just easy access to the cockpit / control panel area, so you can see everything that's going on in there. And then there's actually one more panel at the back that I don't know if it was really made to be dropped down, but you can drop it down if you want to. It's just the way it's built to hold the angle. It doesn't really serve a purpose when it's dropped down, but it can be dropped down. So for what that's worth to you, that is there. It just really doesn't do anything. Popping this top piece back on should be a breeze to really complete the look of the Imperial troop transport here. So you can get an idea of how the angles work, and it's a really accurate model for 900 and some odd pieces and $200. Obviously, the engines look really good at the back. Very nice, strong, sturdy build for these. I think the designer did a great job adding in a lot of texture on this build, especially. You can see using these grooved bricks and the grill tiles there. I think that's something that is really apparent when you look at this model. There's just a lot of nice texture to it. A nice mix between studded and tiled as well in the build, which is good, I think. Some people will like it, some people will hate it. It is what it is, I guess. But yeah, maybe the worst aspect of the build as far as like the strength of design goes is like these on the side are really finicky and like they can fall off pretty easily. As you can tell, they're really just jumping all over the place when I barely touch them. But that's a pretty small downside to having a behemoth of an Imperial troop transporter here. I mean, this thing's beautiful. If Lego made one of these, it'd probably be significantly smaller, maybe close to half the size, but not quite. But if you're looking for an Imperial troop transport from Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2, I think it was Episode 5, this is a great option for you. And this is a really good custom set. I mean, honestly, if I didn't have like the Venator back there, I'd be tempted to say this is my favorite one he's made. I mean, this is really good. I am just adoring this set for whatever reason. So I don't know, it's just giving me good vibes from last year too when I was watching The Mandalorian and I was enjoying it. This was a really cool episode and all that. Like, I think there's a lot to that as well as far as like, I don't know, short-term nostalgia. It's only been a year, but there's definitely something there for me. So I love this thing. I think it's really cool. If you're interested, the link will be in the description below. Don't forget, if you do decide to buy one, to use code M&R at checkout for an additional 5% off. But yeah, this thing's super cool. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and you can check out more Republic Bricks Lego Star Wars set reviews on the end screen now.